This is why ghosts might be closer than you realize. I slammed the door behind me, breathless and still clutching my backpack. I was finally home alone for the weekend. No parents, no annoying siblings. I tossed my things aside, grabbed a snack, and flopped onto the couch. Little did I know, I wasn't the only one in the house. As I flipped through channels, I heard a soft creaking sound from upstairs. I froze, the crunch of my chips falling silent. "It's just the house settling," I muttered, trying to shake off the creeping unease. But the noise came again, a gentle shuffling, followed by what sounded like whispering. Curiosity got the better of me. I grabbed my phone, flicking on the flashlight, and climbed the stairs cautiously. Each step felt heavier, the air growing colder as I reached the second floor. My heart raced, pounding in my chest like a drum. The whispers were louder now, echoing through the hallway. "Who's there?" I called out, trying to sound braver than I felt. The whispering stopped, replaced by a sudden chill that made me shiver. Then, a shadow darted past the door at the end of the hall. Without thinking, I sprinted after it, my pulse quickening. As I reached the door, I swung it open, revealing a dusty old room that hadn't been touched in years. The air was thick with a musty scent, and there, standing in the corner, was a translucent figure. It was a ghost, a girl, probably my age, with long, flowing hair and a sorrowful look in her eyes. "Help me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Wait, what? Help you with what?" I stammered, backing up a little. She pointed to an old, faded photo on the wall. "Find the treasure," she said, fading in and out of view. "It's the only way to set me free." My heart raced. I had no idea what I was getting into, but I felt a pull to help her. "Okay, where do I start?" She gestured towards the attic. I hesitated, glancing back down the dark hallway. But I knew I couldn't just leave her there. I took a deep breath and headed up to the attic, the floorboards creaking ominously under my weight. Inside, the room was filled with cobwebs and boxes stacked haphazardly. I started rummaging through the dusty old things, feeling more and more like a ghost myself. Finally, I stumbled upon an old, rusted chest buried beneath a pile of blankets. My hands shook as I opened it, revealing a collection of trinkets and an old locket. As I held it up, the ghost appeared beside me, her eyes sparkling. "That's it. You found it." In an instant, she reached out and touched the locket. A warm glow surrounded her, and I could feel the weight of years lift from the room. "Thank you," she whispered, her form starting to dissolve. "You freed me?" With that, she vanished, leaving the attic still and quiet once more. I stood there, heart racing, a mix of disbelief and triumph flooding through me. I had helped the ghost, and somehow, my home alone weekend had turned into an adventure I'd never forget. And that's how I learned that sometimes being alone isn't so lonely after all. This is why ghosts might be closer than you realize. I kicked the front door shut behind me, breathless and giddy. Finally, home alone for the weekend. No parents, no siblings, just me and my favorite video games. I tossed my backpack onto the floor and made a beeline for the fridge, but as I reached for a soda, I heard it, a faint crash from upstairs. My heart skipped a beat. What was that? I muttered, glancing around the empty kitchen. Maybe I was just imagining things. I shook it off, cracked open my drink, and sank into the couch. But then, another crash echoed through the house. louder this time. "Okay, this is not funny," I said, my voice shaky. Curiosity pushed me to grab my phone for light. I climbed the stairs, each step creaking beneath me, and headed down the dim hallway toward the source of the noise. As I reached the door to my little sister's old room, I stopped dead. The door was slightly ajar, and inside I could see shadows moving. "Hello," I called out, but all I got in return was silence. I pushed the door open, and my heart raced. The room was in disarray, toys scattered everywhere. But that wasn't what caught my attention. Floating in the center of the room was a glowing figure, a ghostly girl with long hair and a faded dress, her eyes wide and pleading. "Help me," she cried, her voice echoing through the room. I backed up, stumbling over a toy. "What do you want from me?" "Find the truth," she insisted, her form flickering like a candle. "I can't leave until you do." Panic surged through me. "What truth?" She pointed toward the attic. "It's up there. Please." Without thinking, I bolted for the attic door, my heart racing. I flung it open and climbed the narrow steps, the air growing colder with each step. The attic was filled with dust and old boxes, but in the corner, I saw a trunk that seemed out of place. I hurried over, pulling it open. Inside were old photos and letters, the top one dated decades ago. I flipped through them and realized it was a family's history, all tied to the girl's ghost. "Your family?" I whispered, piecing it together. "You want to be remembered." The ghost appeared beside me, her expression softening. "Yes. You can help me find peace." I gathered the photos and letters, holding them up. "I'll make sure you're not forgotten." As I spoke, the room filled with warmth, and the ghost's figure began to glow brighter. "Thank you," she said, a smile spreading across her face. With a flash, she disappeared, leaving behind a sense of calm. I stood there, heart pounding, the attic now feeling lighter and brighter. That's when I realized sometimes being home alone isn't just about solitude. It's about facing the unknown and discovering that even ghosts have stories worth telling. And that's why I learned to embrace the unexpected. This is why ghosts might be closer than you realize. I slammed the front door shut behind me, adrenaline still pumping from the school day. Finally, a whole weekend home alone. I tossed my backpack on the floor, grabbed a snack, and plopped down on the couch, ready to binge-watch my favorite series. But just as I hit play, I heard a loud thud from upstairs. My heart raced. What was that? I muttered to myself. Surely, it was just my imagination. I took a deep breath, trying to calm the nerves. But then came another crash, louder this time. "Okay, this is not cool," I said, standing up. Curiosity won out over fear as I grabbed my phone for light and made my way toward the staircase. Each step creaked ominously beneath my weight. As I reached the top, I could see shadows moving in the hallway. I tiptoed toward my little sister's room, which was where the noise seemed to be coming from. The door was slightly ajar, and I pushed it open, my heart pounding in my chest. What I saw made my breath catch. A ghostly figure floated in the center of the room. It was a girl maybe my age, with long hair and an ethereal glow. Her eyes were wide with desperation. "Help me," she cried, her voice echoing through the room. "Whoa, what do you want?" I stammered, backing away a little. "Find the truth," she pleaded, pointing toward the attic. "I can't leave until you do." I hesitated, glancing back down the hallway. "Truth? What truth?" "Just go," she insisted, her form flickering. I took a deep breath and sprinted to the attic door, pulling it open with a creak. The attic was dark and cluttered, filled with dusty boxes and cobwebs. My pulse raced as I scanned the room, looking for anything that might hold answers. Then I spotted a small, ancient chest in the corner, partially hidden under a tattered blanket. I rushed over, my hands shaking as I opened it. Inside were old letters and faded photographs, each telling the story of a family long gone, with the girl in the photos. "Is this you?" I asked, holding up a picture of her with a group of smiling children. "Yes," she exclaimed, her image growing brighter. "You have to show them." I gathered the letters and photos, a sense of purpose surging through me. "I'll make sure your story is told." As I spoke, the air in the attic shifted. The ghost smiled, a look of peace washing over her face. "Thank you. You've set me free." In an instant, she glowed brightly before disappearing completely, leaving the attic warm and filled with light. I stood there, stunned, realizing that I had not only faced my fears, but had helped a spirit find closure. Home alone wasn't just about the absence of company. It was about connecting with the past and bringing peace to those still lingering. And that's why sometimes the most unexpected encounters can change everything.